Hey guys, this is Erin. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn all there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Living in Richmond, Virginia for another City versus City. I'm really excited about who we have here today. It is DJ Parker from Chesapeake. DJ, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Erin.
Absolutely. I have been itching to talk with an agent from Chesapeake, which is such a popular area in the Southside Hampton Roads area. So like I said, DJ, thank you so much for getting on here to tell us all about Chesapeake and how it compares up to Richmond.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited as well. We get a lot of people coming down here from Richmond and vice versa. So it's always good to hear about Richmond as well.
Absolutely. All right. So let's kind of get started first with kind of the fun stuff. So people really know about if they're moving somewhere, the like day-to-day, habits, all of the different things they're going to be doing, what they can generally expect. So DJ, if you wanted to go to an amusement park, first off, where would you be going and how long would it take you to get there?
So most likely in our area, if you're going to an amusement park, you're definitely going to Busch Gardens. Personally, I like Kings Dominion a little more, but let's just say Busch Gardens because that's the more popular option. So Busch Gardens is right about an hour up to Williamsburg. However, if you want to keep going north a little bit up your way, Kings Dominion is about an hour and a half or so from us. And the reason why I say I like Kings Dominion is just because the roller coasters they have a lot more of them and they're not so spread out like they are at Busch Gardens.
Gotcha. So Busch Gardens definitely has that pretty feature, the pretty and all the different little countries and all the different things that kind of roll you in sort of thing. But I'd say through and through, if you're a roller coaster person, come up to the Richmond area to Kings Dominion for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Is there any stuff around you that you frequent or that is closer to home that's on your side of the water, amusement park wise, do you think?
Amusement park wise, not necessarily, but we have one thing that Richmond doesn't have, of course. It's not in Chesapeake, but it's right here, and that would be the beach. So if you live anywhere in Hampton Roads, you're definitely heading to the beach. From Chesapeake, it's about give or take 25 to 30 minutes to get to the beach. That's definitely somewhere my family and I at least go once a week during the summertime.
For sure. You definitely are going to have the leg up on that. So I would it's funny that the two amusement parks, when you're talking about Chesapeake, are going to be exact same ones that I'm going to be talking about as well. And distance wise, we're definitely in Richmond. We're going to be closer to Kings Dominion, really anywhere you are, about 30 minutes, right up 95. And then Busch Gardens is going to be for the Richmond area, is going to actually be probably a little, which is funny to me. I think you guys might be a smidge closer to Busch Gardens than we are, even though you have to come across the tunnels. But, we're right at about an hour, 15 minutes, something like that. Hour, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, the tunnel, that is one downfall of our area is the tunnels. If you're going anywhere in Hampton Roads, you're going to deal with tunnels. So like I said, I mentioned the beach. Do you have anywhere besides amusement parks that people like to go to hang out in Richmond?
I would say the equivalent for us, if we're gonna be going to the beach, we're really going to be needing, we're going to have to go to a river. We're either going to be, somewhere along the James River, where really anywhere that you're at, there's several different little spots you can pop in at. So, 20, 30 minutes from anywhere in the river. And that's going to be definitely a different, you're not dealing with waves. You might have undercurrent and rocks, but you're not going to be dealing with waves.
Or jellyfish. You don't have to deal with jellyfish. So that's a positive.
This is very true. This is very true. But you don't get the fun beach experience sort of thing. And then a lot of people, Richmond, are going to be definitely heading out more like Northern Neck, more like Kilmarnock, Lancaster sort of thing, and doing what they call up here, a house on the river, RIVAH, right?
Yep, for sure.
Now let's jump ahead a little bit and talk about beaches, because you've kind of hit the nail on the head that no question about it, Richmond versus Chesapeake. If you are a beach person, and you want to be able to choose from any at any time, you're going to want a big Chesapeake. I mean, you've got everything. So maybe talk to us a little bit about how long it would take you to get to your favorite beach,
Okay.
either in Chesapeake or close by.
Yeah, so for Chesapeake, so any locals, when they're looking to go to the beach, most likely they go to Sandbridge.
Okay.
I will tell you that's in Virginia Beach. So for here, it's about 30 minutes to get to. And the reason why I say most locals go there is because it's a lot less crowded than, say, the ocean front in like downtown Virginia Beach. A lot of the tourists head to the ocean front. That's where a lot of hotels are. A lot of, I guess what I would say tourist attractions per se.
Right.
Whereas Sandbridge, there's no hotels at Sandbridge. It's actually similar to the Outer Banks. It's a lot of vacation homes.
Right.
So there's not an overabundance of parking at Sandbridge. So really, besides at the very south part of Sandbridge where there's Back Bay Park, you're really just parking on one main road, and it's limited parking. So the beach isn't as crowded as you would see at the ocean front. So that's, if you're local, you're definitely going to Sandbridge.
That's where you're going.
For sure. For sure.
That is so funny because when I was talking to we all know them, my Virginia Beach with the, Richmond versus Virginia Beach, they were saying the same thing. They're like, we don't go to the ocean front.
No, if you're local, you go to the ocean front after Labor Day and before Memorial Day. You don't head there during the summer because everybody's coming here for Virginia Beach for the ocean front.
Of course. And I know you mentioned OBX, the Outer Banks sort of thing. For Chesapeake, how long would it take you to get to the Outer Banks?
You can definitely be down and at Kitty Hawk in an hour and 15 minutes, depending on traffic. You just go straight down 168, which I know a lot of people from Richmond head down to the Outer Banks, and Chesapeake's actually the last city you go through in Virginia to get to the Outer Banks. So it's the way to go to the Outer Banks is through Chesapeake.
Yeah, you're really, really lucky on that. I did discover that little secret back spot. It's like we take 460 out and kind of go through all the country. It's technically maybe a little bit longer than going down 64 and hitting 664, but I never hit traffic, and I love that I'm just moving. So we're about 3.5, 4 hours. So we're going to give it to you, DJ. If you like beaches, you are definitely Chesapeake's going to be the spot for you.
No, definitely. But I will tell you, so one thing, now this isn't beach related, but I have 2 teenage daughters, and for shopping wise, we have some cool places to shop in Hampton Roads. We have some outlet malls, but we actually head up your way to go shopping. My kids actually like the Short Pump area. So
of course they do.
If you want to talk about that at all, because we make a trip up there probably every 3 to 4 months.
That is funny. Yeah, let's kind of talk about that for sure, because you do have some really good shopping areas down in your area. Maybe talk about, if you're going shopping, sounds like you're going to go to Short Pump, and how long is it going to take you from Chesapeake to get there?
So for us to get to Short Pump, it's right about 70 to 90 minutes, I guess, depending on traffic. Okay. And you're probably wondering, hey, why do you go to Short Pump? Because like you said, we do have in Virginia Beach, we do have a premium outlet. In Williamsburg, which is about right by Busch Gardens, about an hour away, there's another premium outlet. But my girls claim to say that there's more clothes and shopping in Short Pump, and kids down here won't have the same clothes as them. I don't know if that's true or not, but Short Pump's an awesome place, a lot of cool restaurants. So it is. I know I'm talking about Richmond, and I'm supposed to be talking all about Chesapeake.
No, this is good.
You do have a nice spot there in Short Pump. I will tell you that.
For sure. All right. So if you needed to, let's say that you needed to grab something shopping wise fast, like they didn't have time to get up here to Short Pump to do some things. Where do you think mall wise you guys would be going?
So unfortunately, and I'm sure it's the same in Richmond, our malls aren't really that great anymore. Yeah. They're going by the wayside because of Amazon, I guess. Right. But in Chesapeake, we do have the Greenbrier Mall.
It's a nice mall.
It's not a horrible mall, but it's not what it was 20 years ago. Right. There is some empty shops in there, but yeah, the Greenbrier area is the popular mall section. Not only the mall, you have Target, Kohl's, everybody's favorite home goods. So yeah, there's plenty of shopping to do there as well. But like I said, if you're looking for like an outlet mall, Virginia Beach has a brand new outlet mall as well as an IKEA. And both of those, the IKEA has been here about, I think, 4 or 5 years, and the outlet's been here about 10 years.
Yeah. Now we will definitely touch on that, because when everyone wants to get their IKEA fix as we do, we're coming down your way.
Yeah.
Is it in Chesapeake or is it somewhere else?
It's in, technically, I believe it's in Virginia Beach, but it's literally like right on the border of Virginia Beach and Norfolk.
Okay.
They're all right by so Norfolk International Airport is also right on that line, and all the airport, the outlets, and IKEA are literally a rock's throw from each other. So yeah, from Chesapeake, it's about 30 minutes to get to any of those three.
That's pretty lucky. That's pretty lucky. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, if you DJ, you and your girls, your family, whatever, y'all wanted to go to a concert, where are you going? And how long is it going to take you to get there?
This is an easy question for us. It's the Veterans United Home Amphitheater, which we call as the Virginia Beach Amphitheater. It's in Virginia Beach. From Chesapeake, depending where you are, 20, 25 minutes. We've got a lot of awesome concerts, especially during the summertime. I'm not really familiar with the venues you guys have in Richmond, so I'm sure you guys might have a nice place, but I imagine you guys also come down our way just because we have some pretty big acts that come through that amphitheater in Virginia Beach. Definitely.
What would you say would be, who would you be seeing if you went to the amphitheater?
Oh, that's easy for me. So they come every year, Dave Matthews Band, and they're a band from Virginia. So I know from Charlottesville area. So that'd be an easy one for me. Dave Matthews.
That's very, very easy. That's very easy. All right. Very cool. All right. You guys do have some great venues down there for sure. For sure.
Now do you guys have a concert venue, or do you guys all come down here?
No, we definitely have concert venues for sure. So we have what is, we had a big one that moved out, but definitely the Dominion Energy Center is a big one for Richmond. That's right in town. Doesn't matter where you live in Richmond, 20 minutes to get to it. And I know we'll be talking a little bit about it. I know I've been to the amphitheater before for a concert. It was great, and it's big, and there's lots of room. But parking was
yeah, for sure.
I've actually been really pleased with all of our venues out here in Richmond, and most of them are downtown, and I am a burbs girl through and through. If, a parking lot, it might be hard to get parking, but at least there's a parking lot. Parallel parking and doing city parking drives me crazy. That's what I love about our venues in Richmond, is we have a lot of parking garages, and they were pretty smart about where they positioned them. So it does make it really easy. So for us, we have the Dominion Energy Center, but we have a lot of smaller ones that are like the National, the Broadberry. And then we do have a pretty, and then we do have our amphitheaters. Probably our biggest one is like Innsbruck would be our big one, or the one at Meadow Event. That's where the Virginia State Fair is, and which is over in Doswell, close to Kings Dominion. So 30 minutes. So everything 20, 30 minutes, several different things. But we do have our amphitheaters, though not as big as the Virginia Beach one. I mean, nowhere close. They're growing in the number of outside venues that they're getting, sort of thing. But for concerts too, besides the big names, and I know she's out of Vegas now, so I'm hoping that actually, I think she is starting a tour, but I think she's going to Europe. I'd love if Shania Twain would come here. I wouldn't care where she went, I would go.
Well, that's funny you say that, and you're talking about Vegas, because my wife is a huge Celine Dion fan, so she goes on tour too. Because I know I don't believe she's doing Vegas anymore either.
I don't think so either. Okay, well, your wife and I would be best friends.
Yeah, we've got a lot of concerts we can potentially go to. Talking about amphitheaters now, I know more just entertainment. I will tell you one thing we do coming your way again is I'm a huge sports fan, so I love NASCAR. And you got to talk about your track there in Richmond, because if you're a NASCAR fan, in my opinion, that's one of the coolest tracks you can go to, because it's short track racing.
That is, thank you, DJ, for bringing that up. And I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I've actually yet to be to a NASCAR race, and
Oh my gosh! See, I knew you were going to say that too. You just had that look on you.
I had that look because I know it, and I know a lot of people that go to it. So when you come up to the NASCAR races, how long is it going to take you? I mean, DJ, if you need a good realtor in Richmond, sounds like you need to move to Richmond.
Yeah, no. So for us, and you talk about parking. Parking's not fun at Richmond because I guess you haven't been there. So just to give you an idea, in its heyday, Richmond Raceway had about 120,000 people that could come,
Right.
and tickets were sold out. Unfortunately, NASCAR is kind of, as there's more options to watch on TV, people streaming,
Right.
it's kind of declined a little bit. So I believe now it's around 80,000 people, which still is a ton of people. That's one of the biggest venues we have here in Virginia. So parking wise is a little rough. But for us to get to the race, it's about 90 minutes. But again, as I said, once you get to the track, you might be waiting in line for 30 minutes to get into the actual venue itself.
Yep. And I actually go to the venue a good amount. I've gone there for several Christmas markets they do there every year. It's actually our realtor association. Whenever we do like our switch or lock boxes, that's actually where we go.
Oh, wow. Well,
not on the track, though. I think that would be really fun.
Well, I don't know if you're aware, they used to have the Virginia Fair was actually at the race grounds. I'm not sure if it still is, but we used to go up there for that as well.
Gotcha. No, they moved it to the Meadow Event Park, which is up by just past Kings Million.
Okay.
Gotcha. But now that you talk about the NASCAR stuff, I know that I have made the mistake of when showing properties like that, of getting on Laburnum on a race day or on a race weekend and going, oh, what have I done?
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal. I mean, it's a great track, but if you leave with everybody else and you park inside the perimeter of the fence, you're looking for 2 hours at least afterwards.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. People like open up. I know I was watching people like open up, like they had these just pieces of property that are right off of Laburnum, and they're like just opening up and charging. And that's like people, parking just on the grass,
Correct. The racetrack itself is a little different because it's kind of like in a neighborhood. It's strange. You go through many neighborhoods to get to it. So it's a little different, I guess.
It's different. It's different. All sorts of things. All right. So we know that you're going to go. We know that I'm going to meet your wife and that we are going to have to stalk Celine Dion. We know that we are going to will her and manifest Celine in Virginia.
Well, then Erin, we're going to have to get you at a NASCAR race then. Okay. I mean, it's in Richmond, so you got to go to one.
It's a deal. It's a deal. We're going to do it. We're going to put it on the calendar for sure. Yeah, that's so fun. I'm so glad you brought that up. We have several calls from people just like you moving to the Richmond area that want to work with our team. If this is you, we would love to be the real estate team that you choose. Our contact info is right down in the description. Okay. Yep. Let me see what else we've been talking about for sure. Definitely the concerts. Okay. Let's get back because I want to hear more about Chesapeake for sure. Talk to us about your favorite spot in Chesapeake to visit. It can be a favorite place to eat, to go out to, just somewhere to be, a neighborhood, any of that.
Oh, so me, I'm a big outdoors person, so I might be a little different than other people, but I enjoy fishing. So for me, in Chesapeake, I take my boat to Elizabeth River State Park. Well, it's not a state park, Elizabeth River Park, I'm sorry. Okay. And that's where I put my boat in on the Elizabeth River. The Elizabeth River, you can go north into Norfolk and actually go to Waterside, which is really popular in Norfolk. But if you're staying in Chesapeake, that is actually on the intercoastal waterway, basically, if you go south down the Elizabeth River. So a lot of good fishing. And so that's what I like doing. But I know not everybody likes fishing. So if you're looking for a restaurant to eat in Chesapeake, in the Great Bridge area, there's a restaurant called Off the Hook. If you like seafood, that's an awesome place to go. So how about Richmond, Erin? Do you have a spot you like to go?
For sure. There's actually a place that is out in Powhatan, and it's called the Fine Creek Brewery. And I actually always love this spot. I'm an outside person too. That's not weird. People who don't like to be outside, that's weird to me. From my house, it probably takes, from most places, I would say it's probably going to be at least 30 minutes to get out there. You're really not that far from everything, but you definitely feel like you are out there for sure.
Gotcha.
I loved this spot even before they built the brewery because of it's the Fine Creek Mill, the mill at Fine Creek, and actually it's this beautiful like old. They've made it into like a venue, and I just love it because whenever you get around there, particularly in the spring and fall, in the spring when it's just starting to get that like there's like that, it's just like a haze of green and the
Yep.
daffodils are popping up. That area is like it's like it makes me think of like you're in a fairy tale. That's what it looks like. And they've got the flat rocks, and like you just open up your window, even if I'm not stopping anywhere around there, I can just hear that the water. And there's just something so very soothing about that, and so quintessential Virginia. But they have a beautiful venue there. I know you like can only drive in a certain amount of spot before you're being kind of stalkerish, and I don't want to. They're always having an event there. Lots of weddings. Lots of beautiful events that they do there for sure. Whoops, I think I lost. There you go. Good.
No, I'm still here. Sorry about that.
They've added this Fine Creek Brewery though, and with that they've also added like the cottages. They've made it almost in like a one-stop shop for venue, but also for people just locally coming in. Great food. I'm not a big brewery sort person. They do have a really good, I think it's called a saison. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably butchering it, but they also offer wine and from different Virginia wineries. But great food, really nice lighting. They have the cornhole pits that are out there, and then of course you can hear the water in the background. And then they've added these cottages, so for people that are doing weddings or big events, or even just people rent it for special events, and they're just set up super little cute, and like their little shop where you check in is like the little bakery. It's just absolutely precious. And because you've got that the old mill that was actually like a functioning mill, you've got those neat old houses that almost makes me think of like when you're in down the like little teeny like city, like the courthouse, like a little area, I think for Chesapeake, if I'm not mistaken, is super cute and has like kind of like oldie little buildings with like the stone and all. It makes me kind of think of that, just not coastal, more woodsy.
No, you definitely set the scene there. It sounds cool. So as soon as I heard the word brewery, that piqued my interest.
Okay.
So one thing I want to ask you though, because the brewery scene is pretty popular down here, but I know for a fact it's very popular in Richmond.
Yes.
So is it still exploding in Richmond?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We are 100% putting ourselves on the map for like the microbrewery of the Mid-Atlantic or whatever. So
no, for sure. I hear all about it. Like I said, we have breweries down here and they're awesome. Big Ugly Brewing is our big one here in Chesapeake.
Big Ugly.
Big Ugly. I know in Richmond though, I know you guys have a ton. You actually have some that are you can find in your local Kroger as well, just because they're so popular in Richmond. So I know you guys might have us beat there on the brewery scene, but there's plenty of spots to go in our area as well.
What kind of fish are you typically catching when you're out in the Elizabeth?
So Elizabeth River is brackish. But I'm more like the intercoastal waterways. So I'm looking for like redfish, which would be a drum, striper, and actually right now in the fall time, the trout really start running, and that's what they're catching right now. So,
that's good.
You can catch flounder occasionally, and if you go further south where it gets fresher, you can catch regular bass. But I'm more like the saltwater fishing.
For sure. And I heard you, when you put your boat in, do you keep your boat at home or do you keep it close by so you can get it in?
So I'm fortunate enough, my in-laws have a farm out in Chesapeake. So I'm fortunate enough to keep my boat at their place. But yeah, nice. And there's a lot of different boat ramps in Chesapeake that you can put your boat in the water. They don't cost anything. Whereas if you go to Virginia Beach, some of their boat ramps actually cost. So it's pretty nice. I mean, you can, like I said, at the Elizabeth River Park, one thing we enjoy doing in the summertime is you put in, head up towards Waterside. And I didn't mention it, but in Norfolk, we have the Norfolk Tides. So that is a minor league baseball team, AAA. They're actually the Orioles minor league team. So it's a
Mm.
beautiful park. It actually gets voted like every year one of the best minor league ballparks in the country. It's right on the Elizabeth River. But what I was saying is on Friday and Saturday nights in the summertime, they have fireworks. So we really enjoy taking our boat right up to the park, and you can actually see the fireworks from the boat.
Oh,
And that's an awesome
wow.
thing to do. So
How long from where you have your boat at, if you guys put the boat in, how long would it take you to get up there from Chesapeake to?
15 minutes. And it's, I get used to this, but a lot of people would think this is really cool. So as you're going up north down the Elizabeth River, you're going by the Norfolk shipyard. So currently today, if you were to go by the shipyard, you'd see a submarine in the water. You'd see a carrier over there. So it's really cool to be on a boat and see these massive military ships. You can't get close to them.
Right.
They're guarded, so you can't get close to them. But it is pretty neat to see because that's not something you get to see every day. And that's the military is very prevalent in Hampton Roads for sure.
For sure. For sure. All right. So let's kind of pivot to talking about average prices. What would you say in the Chesapeake area your average price range is going to be?
So for a range for a single family home, you're probably looking. This is a wide range. Sorry for that, but it's probably around 300 to 550,000. But if you're going to nail me down on a price, so I actually right before we got on this call looked up the numbers for last month. The median price was 375 for a single family home. So.
How do you feel like that shifted from 2021? Do you feel like it's up, down?
Oh, it's definitely still up. So actually versus last month, it was still going up. It was up, I believe, 2.6%.
Yeah.
But versus 2021, it's up over 10%. So you hear a lot of people talking about, hey, the market's probably going to go south. It's going to crash. I know you and I were talking about this earlier. I actually did a video this week about that subject of the housing market crash. I'm not an expert, Erin. I'm sure you might have your opinion on this as well.
Sure.
And you can obviously detail what Richmond's doing. But what we're seeing is with the interest rates going up, we're definitely not selling as many houses as quickly. But as far as the price, I'm not really seeing much change in the price. The only thing I am seeing is you're not having people pay out of pocket above appraisal right now, unless it's a really hot property. But I don't really know that was the best thing to do anyways. So sure. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Sure.
So are you seeing the same thing in Richmond, or what are you guys seeing?
We've definitely seen some calming of things. I'd say as of June 1 of this year, 2022, we've definitely see a calming of things. But the same thing that there's still, homes are still moving, things are still appreciating. It's simply the rate of appreciation that we were seeing in 2020 and 2021, which is not normal.
Yep.
We're seeing the deceleration of appreciation, not the tanking. It's just changed around there sort of thing. And I think the great thing about Richmond is people pivot quickly. The mortgage people, the good, the lifer realtors, we've seen this all before. This isn't a bad market. This is a market. It's a great market.
And I think it's a good market
because out there.
You can actually shop for a house now, in my opinion. You can go see a house and not have to worry about putting an offer in 10 minutes after you leave. You can think in your mind, hey, do we want this house?
Right.
But like I said,
that's a good thing.
If it's still a nice house, and I'm sure you're seeing this in Richmond, you're still having competition. I mean, we still have a shortage of houses in our area. I think right now our months of supply is like 2 months of supply. So I know you know what this means, Erin, but just for the people watching this, basically, if another house doesn't come on the market right now, after 2 months, we wouldn't have any houses on the market, which is still pretty low.
It's very low.
So that's still going to keep prices where they are, in my opinion.
Exactly. It's higher than it was, but when you're going like 100 miles per hour and all of a sudden it's like you feel like you're going 60 miles per hour, it's going to feel like you're going 0, but you're not. You're just a little bit normal.
Yep.
What would you say? So average prices are there. Would you say that most people that are looking for a single family home in Chesapeake, is that about the range that they can expect that you had said? That's about what people are going to be paying? Average?
Yeah, if you want to live in a neighborhood you're going to be comfortable putting your family, that would be the range I would say for that area.
Yep. We're very, very close. Our average price point now for the Richmond MLS area is going to be, we're at 450, which is definitely up. We were at 388 in 2021. So we're up a good amount. But I imagine we're going to just see things evening, not necessarily dropping. It's just going to stay evening. But I'm sure
I think too, what
yeah.
people forget about, we're getting into the fall, or in the fall,
Right.
but getting into the fall and the wintertime, that's typically when it slows down a little bit anyways. So, I think it's all relative in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Let's talk about we've hinted at it a couple different times. Let's talk about traffic. Where are most people that live in Chesapeake, where are they going to be commuting? And how long of a commute are they going to have?
So I guess let me start off by saying, if you're moving here, I probably would guess 9 out of 10 times you're probably military related, so you don't have a choice. But if you had a choice, I got to tell you, I don't want to talk about traffic because it's awful here in Virginia and Hampton Roads per se. But yeah, so off the top of my head, I would say, like I said, I'm just going to theme it like you're going to a military base because that's what most people are doing.
Sure.
So and from Chesapeake, Oceana, which is in Virginia Beach, takes about 30 minutes. If you're on a ship at Norfolk Naval Base, that's about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic. And both of those you don't have to go through tunnels to get to from Chesapeake. Little Creek's another big base in Virginia Beach. So those three are all the Navy bases, but Little Creek is 30 minutes. But then when you go on the other side of the water, you have Langley Air Force Base. You're going to have to go through a tunnel. That is about 35 minutes. That's with no traffic. And when I say no traffic, that never happens. So if you're going at midnight, it'll take 35 minutes. Let's just say that. And then Eustis is actually heading pretty up there towards your way. Fort Eustis is about 45 minutes from Chesapeake.
Right.
So those are the major spots people are commuting to, or some people commute to downtown Norfolk. There's a lot of businesses down there. That's about 35 minutes. And then the other biggest location probably would be for the shipyard here. And I kind of talked about it earlier. It's the Norfolk Naval Shipyard, which is actually in Portsmouth. Don't ask me why it's called that, and it's in Portsmouth. But so yeah, you're looking at about 25, 30 minutes for that. But yeah, Erin, I like I said, traffic here is not fun. One thing I feel we don't do a good enough job, not just in Chesapeake, but in all of our cities, is they build a lot of houses, but they don't necessarily keep up with the roads at the same pace. So we always feel we're behind. There's a lot of new construction going on the roads right now. The Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, which is one of the biggest gridlocks we have for traffic, they're currently putting a new tunnel in. So it'll actually be 3 lanes, whereas right now, 3 lanes on each side, whereas right now it's only 2 lanes on each side. So that's going to be pretty big. That won't be done though for another, I believe 3 or 4 years.
Right.
In Chesapeake, a big traffic gridlock area is the high-rise bridge, and that is on 64. And that actually goes over the Elizabeth River, which I talked about earlier. And they're just completing that. It's going to be completed this month. So that's going from 4 lanes to 6 lanes as well. So that'll help. But to be honest with you, I'm not familiar with Richmond's traffic too much, but I got to believe it can't be near as bad as what we have down here.
Right. Besides on race day over in Laburnum, then it sucks, right? Or by Short Pump at Christmas time, right?
Yeah.
For sure. But definitely, sorry, DJ, we're just going to have to blow you out of the water. That is one thing that is really nice about the Richmond area is I feel like they were real smart about how they laid out the roads or how they've improved or added to things. I just don't feel like we have a lot of little bungle ups. There just really isn't. I know there just isn't the traffic compared to Hampton Road, to the Chesapeake area. It's non-existent. And I hear that from a lot of people that are coming in the area, and I know personally living it. They'll come in, they'll fly in, and they're going even into the city for an interview, and they're like, where are all the people? Is this like, I don't get it. It's because there are just so many different ways to get around. Even if you get hit at like rush hour time and you're on 288, or if you're on, Parham, Chippenham, or you're going through the city or something like that, you're just not going to have a problem with getting to things. If you live in one of the outlying counties in the Richmond area, you're 30 minutes from the city and you need to commute in the city at normal times, you don't need to wake up at the ass crack of dawn. You know, like you can actually leave it a normal thing. That's what I do love about our area. For most people commuting wise, I would say a lot of them are going into the city because of, we have a big medical college, you know, VCU, MCV is a big one, a big draw for all sorts of different big industry sort thing. Then we have the financial district. A lot of people there in downtown Richmond are going there. For other big employers, I think Capital One is a big one, and they have several different campuses more out, like the West End. But the great thing is you could live in Goochland, you could live in the West End, you could live in Chesterfield, you could live in the city and easily get to all those things within 25 minutes or so and not have to worry about it, which is awesome. I think that Richmond definitely, because of that financial district, we see a lot of people coming in and out of bigger cities like Atlanta and Charlotte. We do have two military installations. We have Fort Lee, which is down, you know, more southern part. And then we also have, there's the Weapons Supply Defense Center or something like that. That's also in Chesterfield, but nothing in comparison. The military presence is like non-existent compared to Hampton Roads for sure. Yep. So most people are commuting to those. We do have Amazon is a big one too. So Capital One, Amazon, Financial District, MCV, VCU, I think would be our big employers. And anywhere you live in Richmond, even during our rush hour times, you can easily have a 30-minute or less commute and no tunnels to deal with. So that's kind of nice.
You definitely got us beat there. I mean, like I said, it's not even worth discussing because our traffic situation is pretty rough. One thing I thought of while I was listening to you speak about Capital One and some of your larger employers, it's interesting in Chesapeake. Our largest employer is actually Dollar Tree. People probably don't know this. Right. That's actually where their headquarters is here in Chesapeake. So we don't really have any like skyscraper buildings in Chesapeake. You'd have to go to Norfolk for that. Those really aren't even skyscrapers. But the biggest building in Chesapeake is actually the Dollar Tree headquarters. And they're building a lot around that. And that's in the Greenbrier area too.
That's a great area. That's a really, really nice area. Yep. Okay. DJ, let's talk a little bit about average property taxes in the Chesapeake area.
Yeah. So, I guess versus Richmond, we've got a bunch of cities all within Hampton Roads. So I'm going to just talk about Chesapeake right now, but I would like to compare them to some other cities in Hampton Roads. Absolutely. Because you have some options. But Chesapeake is not the cheapest. It's not the most expensive by a long shot either. So it's $1.05 right now per $1,000 of assessed, per $100 of assessed value. To give you an idea, Virginia Beach is actually the cheapest in our area, and they're 99 cents. But then some of the other cities like Norfolk, theirs is $1.18. And then, you got Portsmouth, I believe it's $1.23 or $1.24. So no one likes paying taxes, but $1.05 is definitely reasonable compared to what you're paying in some of the other cities around in Hampton Roads. Is that kind of what you're seeing in Richmond? Or are we better, less? How are we stacking up?
You guys, and particularly since you're a city, and I'd say most, cities offer more services than say a lot of the county sort things. So, I mean, $1.05 is not bad. Richmond, the city of Richmond is actually $1.20. So it's high. It's really high. But most of our outlying counties are going to be more in the like 82 to 92 cents, somewhere in that range sort of thing. The big popular ones like Hanover, Chesterfield.
Is that because like you got to pay trash and services like that separately, or why?
It just always seems to be that way sort of thing. But I think that's very, very affordable. So, if someone was moving to Chesapeake and it's not the cheapest, but it's also not the most expensive, for let's say that like between a $500,000 and $550,000 house, about what would their taxes be?
You're looking probably around $3,000 to $4,000 a year. The bigger house you get, obviously. Comparable. I will tell you from an assessed value perspective, as you know, the market's so crazy that the prices really didn't get to keep up with the assessed value. So it's usually the assessed value is usually around 80 to 85% of what the houses are actually selling for. And I'm sure that's what you're seeing too. No one likes paying taxes. The assessed values continue to go up, but the house prices go up too.
Exactly. And of course, all the counties and cities, when they see that things are hot, I'm sure your assessment, DJ, has gone up a pretty bit since 2020. I know mine is ticked on up there. So
yeah, I was shocked when I got it. I guess it was around June, and it's a sticker shock. I guess no one complains when the house next door sells for a lot more than you paid for yours, but then when you see the assessed value, that's when it's a problem. So
you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Okay, so that's good. I would say Richmond definitely we're running about the same for averaging about where it is, about that kind of 80, 85% of what you're looking for sure. Okay, let's do a little bit of a contest. All right.
Okay.
I want you to use your phone, go into your MLS, and pick out your favorite Chesapeake property that is on the market or pended right now, and talk to us about it.
Okay, so I've actually got one. Came on the market, I believe, about 8 days ago. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little partial to the Hickory area of Chesapeake because that's where I live. So I really focus on that a lot. I service all of Chesapeake. I service all of Hampton Roads, but Hickory's where my dad was in the military, but we always ended back up in Virginia. We've lived a lot of different places. For some reason, we always ended up back in Chesapeake. So I've lived here for over 25 years, and I've always lived in Hickory. So, but anyways, sorry about that story. I'm focusing on Hickory here, but we've got a house. Let me send it to you. This one has actually been on the market 8 days. It's Kendall Circle. It's going for right at $550. So I'll send you the link. It's a beautiful house, 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,500 square feet. It's actually right on a corner lot. It's in the Etheridge Lakes neighborhood, as I mentioned, Hickory School District, which is a pretty popular school district. So for the price you're paying, I know we mentioned the 500 to 550, so it's on the top of that range. But there's a lot of room for that price to grow too. So I think that's a really good, solid value. How about you guys?
And it looks like you've got a pool in the back too.
Correct. And then that neighborhood is, I know you were mentioning how in Richmond, it's, you still have that feel that you can get away from the city. Well, this is a suburb. Hickory's a suburb, but it's very country living. There's a lot of farm fields out in Hickory. And like I said, the schools are what draws everybody out this way.
Got it. For sure. All right. So I will send you a link so you can look at this particular one. The one that I'm talking about is actually in Mechanicsville in the Hanover County, which is another area in the Richmond area that has a very high pool. A lot of it is getting a little bit more yard, getting a little more house than say being in the city. And of course, all the things that people want, all the shopping, the school, the great schools, all that stuff. So this one is at 10275 Berkeley Manor Drive in Mechanicsville. And it's in a really popular neighborhood over there, which is called King's Charter. This one has been, it's kind of a go-to if anyone's talking about going, north of the river or some of the James, we're going to end up in Hanover, and we're going to end up in this neighborhood for sure. Very quintessential Richmond. The thing that I really like about this house is it was built, I think it was built in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. 92. I wouldn't say that's necessarily my favorite time frame, but you're going to find a lot of them around here. For a Richmond home, it is so quintessential because it has that hardy board siding. I don't know if we have a lot of that down in Chesapeake, but we have a ton in Richmond. If your house was built in the 80s and it's not brick, 80s or 90s in Richmond, it's going to be that hardy board stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep, for sure.
Exactly. So it has the look kind of that hardy plank, rather than the vinyl siding. It definitely takes some maintenance, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, this is not good. If you keep it up, that stuff can last forever. And it does have a very Richmond look for sure. This one's been on for about 45 days or 44 days. What I love about it is it blends a really nice open floor plan. It has really nice vaulted ceilings. And they definitely did a nice job with renovating the kitchen. The outside has like a really nice feel to it too. Lots of yard, very open, nice built-ins that you would have in that time frame. And they did renovate the kitchen, but I love it that it does open up to the family room. I'm a big, this house is just screaming natural light. If I'm not outside, I need that natural light going like crazy everywhere.
Yep.
And they did a beautiful job on this house. And that's what I love about this neighborhood is for the most of them, at this point, particularly in the 550 price range, you can anticipate there's been some really nice renovations that have been done. And people have usually lived in that neighborhood and maybe like moved up several different times. They want to stay there. They want to stay there. The primary bathroom the renovation they did in there is absolutely just beautiful. You'll have to look through those pictures when they do the video, just gorgeous. And then I love this about, nice big giant deck, nice level backyard. It's the yard that everybody is looking for, and you're almost at half an acre. So you're in like the prime
that's a nice
spot.
lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. Nice. So you could definitely put a pool in there. You'd have plenty of room that you could put a pool in there if you wanted to, and still have plenty of room to play, run around, do whatever you sort thing. But a really, really nice neighborhood. And like I said, taxes, just under $4,000. So very, very affordable. All
now,
right.
One question I got for you, because so where I live in Chesapeake and in all of Hampton Roads, we're by the beach, so we're right at sea level. Right. So none of our houses have basements. Do you guys have basements in Richmond, or is it?
We actually do have a good number of basements.
Okay.
Still though, particularly a newer home, or if you were looking to renovate, for most of the places though, those basements are not unheard of. And if you had one, you don't have to worry about it flooding for sure, because we are definitely up higher. They're still more likely to go with a, building up. It's still more effective cost. But if you can find a resale that has a basement, you actually can find a good number around here for sure.
Yeah, we don't have any. And if you do find one that has them, that means it was built in like the 1900s.
Right.
So yeah, we don't have them because we're below sea level. So it most likely would flood.
Not the most advisable.
Yeah.
Not the most advisable sort of thing. But if you do have one, it's going to be, way back when. Yeah, we do have basements. All right. Let's have some more fun. This is the really, really fun stuff. Talk to us about the most expensive home in Chesapeake on the market right now.
Okay. So good news. If you just won the lottery, maybe a person who won the Powerball the other day is watching this. So, I've got one right up their alley. It's not that expensive. But it is in Chesapeake. It's in Hickory again, not anywhere where I live. It's in the neighborhood of Edinburgh. This one is actually been on the market for a little while. It's actually under contract though. Now I will tell you that it just went under contract. It's going right under $2 million for 1.99. It's a 312 Cotter Crossing. Like I said, it's the Edinburgh neighborhood. This house here is actually the builder's house. So you can imagine how many beautiful upgrades it has. Mm-hmm. You were talking about natural lighting, ton of natural lighting on this. It's actually right on a lake. There isn't no pool. There isn't a pool, but they did such a good job with the backyard. I'm not sure you need a pool because it's an incredible looking house. As far as the bedrooms, hopefully you have a lot of kids because this one is 7 beds, five bathrooms, actually 5.5 bathrooms. I'm sorry. It's over 6,000 square feet. So if you're going to be living here, it's a beautiful house, but you got to have a big family. I don't think someone without kids is going to be living here.
Or you're entertaining dignitaries or something like that. Right?
Yeah. I will tell you about what's funny about Edinburgh is it's a newer neighborhood. We have a thing called Homerama down here where they showcase houses every year in a new neighborhood. Yes. And so this neighborhood was a Homerama, I believe, about 10 years ago, maybe a little less than that. But it's out in Hickory, but it's literally 2 minutes from a Walmart, 2 minutes from a Target, and 2 minutes from a movie theater. So it's like a very exclusive neighborhood to live in, but really close to Walmart. So it's kind of strange, but it's an awesome neighborhood. And they're actually building a lot of new construction out that way. Not all the houses are $1.9 million, but most of the houses in that neighborhood go for the $750 to $1.2 million.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is exciting. This is exciting because
you have a theme?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I will tell you real quick. There
Yes.
is a house. I didn't even want to show it. We do have a house for $3 million in Chesapeake, but it doesn't need to be $3 million. It should be like 400,000. I don't know why it's listed at $3 million, so I didn't include that one. So,
I
but let me
like that.
say that.
I like that for sure. I like that. And really, when it comes down to it, when we're doing this stuff, we can choose whatever we want.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't have to be the most expensive. It can be the most expensive. But this is actually exciting. Usually most people that put out things, it's like, they're blowing us, little country mice,
Yeah.
Richmond out the wire. So in this particular instance, this one is at 6311 Three Chop Road. And it's in West Hampton. So this is technically the city of Richmond. This house is absolutely beautiful, stunning. Was built in 1910. It is a mere 4.25 million.
So is this downtown Richmond, or
It is.
That's why I figured, because of the age. I figured, yeah, I
Right.
love that area too. So
Oh,
I
it's
can only imagine.
beautiful. It's not actually like the downtown. It's more of the, like, what I would call more the, like, getting up about the, like, near West End. That it's more kind of like fan museum sort of.
Okay.
It's like getting out of it. So it's like the roads are bigger, and I love these neighborhoods that it's like kind of tucked very exclusive back, and the beautiful, like, the beautiful driveways that you have move in. A lot of them are gated off or kind of tucked back into the woods. This house is just absolutely beautiful. You look at it and it's like if walls could talk. And they've just done some beautiful renovations, but at the same time, they've just maintained that the integrity of that beautiful air. 7460 on the square footage. This one does have a basement, so that is include. It's 7460 on the square footage, and it's like almost 2,000 square foot basement, which is awesome. 4 stories. So you've got your basement and a 3rd story. 7 bedrooms like yours, 5 full baths and 2 half baths as well. Again, stunning kitchen, stunning architecture, the beautiful soaring ceilings, and then the front of this, the back of this, it looks like you have. It looks like somewhere that you would entertain dignitaries. So very, very quaint. Your nice place in the city. Everything about this screams Richmond.
Yeah, I bet it has a lot of history, just the age. And a lot of stuff history-wise in Richmond. It's very well known. So that's
for
pretty
sure.
cool.
For sure.
That's pretty cool.
I think it was the Rosewood, and it's one of the originals for the Three Chop District. So it's kind of
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine walking through that neighborhoods, just seeing the different style houses like that. It's pretty cool.
Just absolutely beautiful, beautiful no matter what time of year, even during the dreary times of year, but definitely during our pretty times of year, we love it for sure.
Yeah.
So cool, for sure. So, hey, let's talk also a little bit about generally, I know you've kind of touched on why people would be coming to your area. Talk just a little bit about, you kept on coming back to Chesapeake. What do you love so much about Chesapeake?
So like I said, we've already talked about, I like being outdoors. So Chesapeake, you're close to everything. You're still in a city, but it's not like a downtown area. There's still rural parts of Chesapeake. There's still wide open fields in Chesapeake, which is really hard to find in Virginia Beach. It's impossible to find in Norfolk. You can actually, if you like hunting, there's actually places in Chesapeake you can still hunt in Chesapeake. So like I said, you're still close to everything, and I think this is similar to kind of what you were talking about in the southern portion of Richmond, where we're real close to the city, but you're also not on top of each other. I currently live in a neighborhood, but to give you an example, my parents live on a 3-acre plot of land. My in-laws, who I said had a farm, have a 22-acre farm. There's a lot of those out here. That's not unseen. Whereas if you go to like Norfolk or Virginia Beach, there's a lot of cookie cutter neighborhoods on top of each other. We have some cookie cutter neighborhoods in Chesapeake. There is a lot of new construction, but you can still get that rural feeling in Chesapeake as well. And sure. I think that's probably, like you said, in southern Richmond. You got downtown. I'll let you talk about Richmond, but I got to believe it's very similar to you.
Yeah, the Richmond area does. It really has. It kind of has something for everyone. It kind of has something for everyone. So if you want that, lots of history, and you want to be in the hubbub of everything, you really have that option to be in the city, or you could be in one of the more busy areas of a suburb. But if you really want to be kind of a little bit more off the grid, but still have your high-speed internet because you're remotely working, what have you,
Yep.
you've got those options. And so you can get the land, you can get the roll of the land, just trees, lots of history, but you can feel like you're in that big city, but then get out to the country so very easily. And I love all the nature. We have beautiful flora and fauna. We don't have, we have our river. We have the James River.
Yep.
Don't have any beaches per se, but I do like that variety of things for sure.
I think like here we have a lot of parks you can walk through with a lot of hiking trails. Similar to you, there's a lot of places to get outside.
Yeah.
And like I said, the beach is awesome. I gotta say, but the river isn't bad either because, like I said, there's no jellyfish, so that's not a bad thing.
That is a thing. And we didn't even touch about because we kind of jumped right in the beaches and talked about all theirs. If you wanted to go to the mountains, DJ, where would you be going and how long would it take you there to get there?
Okay, so if you see behind me, yeah, I guess it's right here. So that little flag there is actually, and you mentioned this earlier, but that's actually Liberty.
Okay.
So one of my daughters is going to be going to Liberty, which is in the mountains,
right
at Lynchburg. So if you're looking to go to Lynchburg, it's actually straight down 460 from Chesapeake, 3.5 hours just to get to Lynchburg. If you're looking to go to like Charlottesville, where the UVA area is, in the beginning of the mountains, it's about 3 hours and 15 minutes. But if you're asking me where I'm going to go if I'm going to the mountains,
yep.
We love going camping. West Virginia is where we go camping.
Okay.
It's a place called Trout Pond. It's actually a natural spring lake. So make sure you look it up.
Oh.
It's in the George Washington National Forest. You head up north to Harrisburg, where actually James Madison is.
Yep.
And then as soon as you get to Harrisburg, you shoot west into West Virginia, about 20 miles into West Virginia. So that's where we would be going. That take about 6 hours, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But the cool thing about up there is when you're about 10 minutes from the campsite, your phone stops working because there's no signal. So if you're going there for a week, it's truly a week of vacation. You can't answer your phone. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So it's a really good time. So I will say, in my family, we like being outside a lot.
Right.
So I think you might have us beat there just because the mountains, you and I call them mountains, but my family's from Colorado and they're called hills here, not mountains. But anyways, our mountains are pretty special in my opinion. A lot of great views. And so I think for Richmond, you guys got us beat there just because it's a little quicker to get to it.
Definitely. We can be in Charlottesville, I would say, 2 hours, maybe we could be in the mountains. And really, I think probably hour, 45 minutes, we could be in the hours or in the mountains sort of thing. So we definitely are a bit closer. I love George Washington National Park.
You got to check this campground out. I'm telling you, it's beautiful. So.
Okay. I'll definitely look that up. See, because I'm married to someone who loves to fish. Our son is a nutcase fisherman. Our mountains in Virginia, they're pretty, and also West Virginia, they're pretty. But they are hills compared to out west. But
No, they're great for us. I think we got the best of both worlds.
We do,
because you got the beach, and then 3 hours from Hampton Roads, or an hour and a half from Richmond, you got the mountains. And there's a reason why the people who live in the mountains come down our way too. So
that's right.
It's the best of both worlds.
For sure. DJ, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us all about Chesapeake. I actually learned so much. I thought I knew a lot about Chesapeake, and I learned so many things, and also the hot spots that I need to check out in West Virginia for sure.
No, I as well. And again, thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it. And again, Richmond's obviously a great place to check out. We both have our things that are good for our areas and suitable for you. So, reach out to Erin and I if you need assistance with that.
For sure. Again, thank you so much for joining us for another City versus City on Living in Richmond, Virginia. Remember, leave everything better. Once again, if this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and click that little bell so you're notified every time we release a new video.